Story time of why I'll never ride in a subway ever again. I was on my way home after spending the weekend with my friend. I sit on this bench waiting for my train. This bench was right in front of this wall. It was placed on the edge of the wall where you would like turn the corner. And on that wall behind me, there was a ledge. So I had all my bags and I had my water bottle and I put it on that ledge. At the subway station, there was only like 3 people. Mind you, it was like nighttime. I noticed this creepy old man with a cane. Something in me was telling me to just Uber home, but I just stayed at the subway station because really nothing was going on for me to feel like that, if that makes sense. So I just ignored that feeling and waited for my train. I turned around to get my water bottle so I could get a sip of it. I noticed this man standing right on the corner of the wall and he was not there before, so I was kind of creeped out. He just smiles and waves at me, so I smile and wave back. I get my water bottle and I take a sip from it. Well, the train finally arrives and I start to get my bags together so I can get on the train. By the time I got everything together, it seemed like everybody else had already gotten the train except for the old man with the cane. As I was about to get on the train, he stopped me. He said not to get on the train because the man that appeared behind me had switched out my water bottle when I wasn't looking. It's a good thing I didn't get on the train. Or was it? Like for part 2, because this is where things start to get really weird. Part 2 of why I'll never ride the subway ever again. Like I said, the old man stopped me because he said the man that appeared behind me had switched out my water bottle when I wasn't looking, and I had already taken a sip from it, so good thing I didn't get on the train. So now me and that old man were the only ones in the station. I thank him and then I start to get tingles all over my body. Like I'm getting really sleepy. So I start to leave the subway to catch an Uber instead. My body keeps getting more and more tired. Next thing you know, I black out. When I woke up, I was back on the bench, and the old man with the cane was sitting right next to me, looking at me. I start to panic and he says everything is okay, and that when he started to leave the station behind me, he noticed that I was passed out, so he picked me up and took all of my stuff and put me back on the bench. And he stayed with me to make sure that I was safe, not just passed out in the subway station by myself. So I'm thinking, wow, this old man is literally amazing. I thank him and I start grabbing my stuff so I can leave. Well, as I'm leaving, I get a really weird feeling. I decided to glance behind me one more time, and there I see the man who supposedly switched out my water bottle turn the corner and start talking and laughing with the old man with the cane. Part 3 of why I'll never ride the subway ever again. So like I said, I see that same man who supposedly switched out my water bottle and put something in my drink that made me pass out in the corner and start talking to the old man with the cane who had told me that that same guy switched out my water bottle. My blood runs cold and I run. I run out of their sight as fast as possible. When I get out of the station, I run for blocks, just in case they try to follow me. Once I get far enough, I hide behind a building and I order myself an Uber. I'm hiding behind a building because I'm super paranoid in case they're like in a car that drives by so like they don't see me. I wait for the Uber to arrive and I get in and I get home safely. My parents were expecting me to be home that night, so as you can imagine, they were super worried as to why I got home so late. I had just told them that I forgot something at my friend's house, so I had to turn around and go back, and that my phone had died, so I wasn't able to contact them. I didn't want to worry them, so I didn't tell them anything about the 2 men. Until I went upstairs to change. I took off my jacket. I noticed that the blouse that I had under it was unbuttoned. My bra was gone. And when I take off my pants, I see blood. That's when I run and tell my parents, like for part 4. Part 4 of why I'll never ride the subway ever again. So like I said, after that really weird encounter with those 2 men at the subway station, I get home safely and I start to undress, but when I take off my jacket, I noticed that the blouse that I was wearing under it was unbuttoned, my bra was gone, and when I took off my pants, there was blood. If you know what I mean. That's when I start crying and I run to tell my parents exactly what happened. I told them that I didn't tell them before because I didn't want to scare them. They were really understanding, and the next day we went to the hospital. Well, once I got checked, they said they found wooden splinters inside of me. I must have not even felt that because of all the adrenaline that I had running through my body. And then I start to think, but why would there be wood? And then I remember that that old man's cane was wooden. After we left the hospital, my parents and I filed a police report. They opened an investigation and asked me to describe what the men looked like. They said they would check out the cameras at the subway station. But when they got there, they were told that that subway station didn't have cameras. And so they decided to take DNA samples from my clothing that I wore that night. And a match actually came back. Like for part 5. Part 5 of why I'll never ride the subway station ever again. So once they took DNA samples from my clothing from that night I was at the subway station, they found a match, and yup, it was that old man with the cane. But there was only one DNA match, and it was just that old man with the cane. I was able to tell them like, yeah, that was that same guy with the wooden cane. Well, it turns out the old man with the cane was already in the system. He had gotten arrested before. He had attempted to murder and sexually assaulted his own niece. He had got let off on parole. There was so much evidence against him, and also the fact that he tried something similar on his niece. They arrested him again. I also forgot to mention they took samples of his wooden cane, like the splinters that were found inside me. They matched it up to be like the same kind of wood. Anyways, so we go through the court proceedings and stuff, and now he's locked up for like 20 years, I'm pretty sure. I never rode in that subway station ever again, and I don't plan on riding in any subway station ever again. And that other man that helped the old man with the cane is still somewhere out there because there wasn't enough evidence against him. Let me tell you about this story of me while I was in the psych ward. Don't ask why I was in the psych ward, just know that I was there. Okay, so while I was there, we had to do these group meetings as soon as we woke up and before we went to bed. We had to wake up at like 9 a.m. in the morning. I hated it there. I was depressed. I'd always give the workers shit about going to those meetings. I was like, fuck y'all, I'm not going to those goddamn meetings. One night my stomach was hurting really bad, so they let me skip the meeting and sleep early. And I had gotten up in the middle of the night to go ask for some stomach medicine. When I walk out my room, I see this little boy standing at the end of the hall, like, and so I'm like, hello? And this motherfucker goes and starts hissing at me, like, mind you, when he went, he had scissors in his hand. I knew I could outrun that motherfucker, so I started hissing at him back. I said, yeah, motherfucker, what's up, little mail packet? Yeah, what's really going on? Then he starts going, oh. So I match his energy once again, and I start going, who the fuck is you doing that to? Then he picks up his scissors like this and charges dead at me. I zoomed out that hallway so fast. Bitch, I disappeared. Life for part 2, because it only gets worse. Part 2 of the story of me in the psych ward. So like I said, this little white boy who's like 4'8" starts chasing me down the hallway with his little chicken legs. Mind you, he had scissors in his hands. Oh, he was actually trying to kill me. You'll know why I think that in the end. So mind you, while he was chasing me, I did not look back. Not once. I didn't know if this motherfucker was gonna start climbing the walls. I don't know if he was gonna start crawling on the ceiling. My main goal was just to get away. So I eventually make it to the front desk. I look behind me to see if he was still there. Well, he wasn't, so I'm guessing that he stopped chasing me at the end of the hall. The front desk lady is looking at me like, mind you, we weren't allowed to carry scissors or even pencils or anything like that because it was dangerous. And so I didn't want to get that little boy in trouble, so I just told her like, no, I'm good. I just need medicine. Well, eventually they did end up finding him with the scissors anyways and took it away from him. But baby, he found a way to get that shit back. The next morning, everybody came out for breakfast, and these workers were dragging the same little boy out of his room, and he was like kicking and screaming and all of that. Well, turns out he stole another pair of scissors in the middle of the night, stabbed another kid in his sleep. Part 3 of the story of me in the psych ward. So like I said, this same little boy who was chasing me last night with a pair of scissors had sneaked into another kid's room in the middle of the night and stabbed him in his sleep. This little boy's goal was to harm. And it could have easily been me. And I was over there fucking around with that kid talking about, hissing at him because he was hissing at me. I could have died. What if I couldn't have outran him? I would have gotten stabbed. I thought that it was just some weird little boy. I did not think that he was trying to really hurt somebody. Well, rumors started going around the psych ward that the reason that he stabbed that other kid was because he had asked that other boy, I think it was a boy that he stabbed, for his Roblox username so they could play together when they get out. And that kid said no because of the HIPAA violation or whatever. So while that kid was sleeping in the middle of the night, he had gone into his room and stabbed him because he didn't give him his Roblox username. So we're gonna try things out today and you're gonna try them with me. I don't care what you do. I had seen this thing on YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat of people put in different colors of paint on their face and it's supposed to match their skin tone. It's supposed to give you the perfect foundation color, foundation shade. My slow ass. So let's just jump in. So I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to do this. I saw people put it on their face like dots, but I'm just gonna do stripes because I don't got a paintbrush. I don't want to use my makeup brushes. Them bitches be expensive. We just gonna go crazy. This shit better fucking work. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it was gonna take. I don't know how much I'm supposed to put on because I don't even know if this is gonna blend properly. Get your makeup done. $500 a stripe. I think I accidentally put silver. Or is that gray? This is not the same. I might have fucked up. Any story time, y'all. I was babysitting this kid the other day. That motherfucker could not stop singing Baby Shark do 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 do. Baby shut the fuck up. Y'all, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. I can't even fucking finish it.